can something that does not exist have an effect on that which does exist? I think so. And I remember this sort of emerged back when Andrew Tate was popular, or really popular. I don't know if he still is popular. But essentially, I remember him making an argument that, as I understood it, was if everybody believes in God, then and acts, and that belief in God alters their behavior in any way, then therefore God is real, because the effect God had on those people changed reality, and so it was real. But I don't think that it really tracks as an argument. And I was thinking about it, and there were witch trials in the past. If somebody was believed to be a witch, they could be burnt at the stake. So the belief in A cost B. But witches aren't real, at least not to my knowledge. So it wasn't A that cost B, it was the belief in A that cost B. But that doesn't make A real. You know, it's if A, you're a witch, then B, you get burnt at the stake. But and you know, and so you carry it out. Oh, we've determined this person is a witch because she didn't float or whatever the test was, and so we're gonna burn her at the stake. So that can't possibly be the case, right? Because there were no witches. Again, not to my knowledge. But it's the belief in A that costs B, you know? It's not like if there are gifts next to your chimney that Santa Claus is somehow real, you know? It's not that because you received a gift in Valentine's and Cupid is real. No, not really real, you know? But then, if we all believe in Santa Claus, then Santa Claus exists as an entity that isn't real, but it still exists. So maybe that was more of the aforementioned argument. Maybe it was more along those lines. But I still find it interesting that things that aren't real can have real effects. For instance, this is something that was mentioned in my economics class, right? In economics, they talk about expected future whatever, and that has an impact. You know, like when the tariffs were announced, a bunch of stuff happened in response to the tariffs. And my teacher at the time said, no, like the tariffs don't exist yet. You know, like the tariffs haven't cost anything. It is the expectations of the tariffs that cost this, or something along those lines. Or you know, if the government decreases taxes, then that is a decrease in the income of the government. So therefore, in the future, the government will have to spend less, or they will have to tax you more in the future, and that would lead to a decrease in expected future income, and then consumers would act accordingly. Now, this is from a while back, so I probably wasn't 100% accurate, but I'm just somewhat fascinated by this idea that inexistence can have an effect on existence.